Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be testing Dying Light on the Steam Deck. So it's free right now on the Epic Game Store, and I have this game on my Steam library. So I said, okay, let's record this so people that are interested in the free Epic Game Store version can download it there and know what settings to use. So also there's a guide in the description on how to install the Epic Game Store on the Steam Deck so you can actually play the game. So we're using native resolution. This game is not from the era of FSR. It's from 2014, I think. Then we got shadow map size. You got from very high to low. We keep it on medium. Same with foliage. View distance as well. Ambient occlusion on. HPIO plus disabled. Is very GPU bound. Depth of field off. Motion blur off. Anti-aliasing on. Film grain off. And chromatic aberration off. So we're on basically medium settings with the view distance cranked up below 50%, native resolution. So let's get to it. Let me enable the FPS scanner. We're in the slums. This part is GPU bound. There's two big levels in this game without counting the DLC. Hang on, let me shoot this. And I'm targeting 60 right now, which is completely doable, as you can see. The thing is, when you're in the city, it's pretty CPU bound. That's why I lowered the draw distance to around 30%. But as you can see, we're over 60 just fine. Even here, we dropped some minor times into the 50s. I'm guessing it's the CPU and the GPU fighting for resources, for wattage, which is normal with unlocked frame rates. Again, I don't think unlocked frame rates make sense on the Steam Deck in this case, but hey. So as you can see, 60, so my advice, either use an external FPS lock or do this in the menu, and boom, there you go. With those settings you get basically 60s with some drops into the 50s when traversing. And by traversing I mean running around quickly. So yeah, I mean there's no vehicles in this unless you are in the expansion. But that expansion doesn't have that much geometry. So yeah, it's mostly foliage in the expansion that you have a drivable vehicle. So yeah, I'm pretty blown away. Still, I mean, the game is pretty old. It's even on the Switch, on a very custom cut-down version. But still, I think it's pretty impressive that we can do this. I remember playing this on the 750 Ti back then, when it first released. I remember it ran very poorly because of the draw distance. So yeah, I know this game is more melee focused, but it's just too practical. Anyway. Okay, he just doesn't want to die. Good, more zombies on screen. I like that. And well, that thing on the screen is very annoying. Try again. At least she tried. Nicely done. So I would say this is the way to play the game, honestly. Works pretty well. Almost flawless, I would say. Let's get to the spikes. Okay, and I died on purpose. So we can actually go into the city now. So 1 second. Okay guys, so I'm now in the bigger city called Old Town in this game. Same settings as before, as you can probably notice. And let me unlock the frame rate super quick so you can see what's going on. So in here, as you can see, there is lots of geometry, lots more than the slums. This area is less GPU intensive, it's more CPU intensive. You can even play on high settings in this part. But in here, if you increase the draw distance, you're going to suffer on the CPU side. Let me show you super quick, that's the biggest issue. If you grab the view distance and max it out in this location, you're going to drop into the 50s. So if you want full draw distance and high settings, you might as well lock it to 40 to have lots of room to spare for the CPU. Because when you move the camera around, well, you're going to get drops into the 40s. Again, you can see the CPU chugging along there. That's why my advice for 60 frames is to do this. And you're good to go. Draw distance is worse, don't get me wrong, but on a tiny screen, should be okay. So let's lock the frame rate to 60 and continue. Same settings as before. And I'll show you in the end a very quick 40 FPS configuration. You can basically do high settings, that's not an issue at all. But as you can probably notice in this area, it's less consistent than the slums, despite being more less GPU intensive. Again, draw distances are the thing. You can even lower the draw distance further if you want to. I think this is a good balance. Some minor stutters every once in a while, but nothing major. So yeah, works pretty well. Some minor spikes there when moving the camera to a new area. And there is quite a few zombies down there, so that's kind of crazy. Let me see. Oh, I forgot to have the skill to do multiple. And let's alert them. Let's get something going on. So now they're coming my way, and I'm getting attacked by humans as well. Oh, of course, the humans are up there. Look at them, shooting away. Try shooting at me again. I dare you. I double dare you. So with the zombies moving around, I see some drops into the mid-50s. Not that I caught their attention. So either lock it to 50 or lower the draw distance further. I'm fine with these drops. Without the FPS counter, I usually don't notice it much. So yes, that's the big problem when you're looking into the distance, which in this area happens quite a bit. So medium settings looks good, it's okay. Let me show you my higher settings, which basically means crank it up. Let's keep it at 50%, let's be realistic. We keep it on basically high settings. If you want to enable HPAO Plus, personally, I don't think it's worth it, but let's just hammer the GPU further now that we can. NVIDIA depth of field kills performance, even back then. PCSS shadows, not worth the performance hit at all. So now with the higher settings, let's see with analog frame rate what happens. As you can see, there are more drops when looking into the distance. So in this case, lock it to 40, but this one is especially going to drop in the slums. In here should be just CPU bound when looking into the distance, like usual. As I told you before, this part doesn't use much GPU at all. Okay guys, I'm back once again now in the slums with the higher settings. As you can see, we're no longer over 60 like before. We're basically on high settings. But the comparison to my previous medium setting configuration is that we are kicking the GPU further into full gear. So the major problem is in places with foliage. That's when it's the most GPU bound. In this case, just go into handheld. When you're in this case, I cannot do this because I'm on a separate screen. I'm using a capture card. But on the Steam Deck, just put the refresh rate at 40, lock the frame rate to 40, and you should have a smooth experience, even with the higher settings. In my opinion, not worth increasing the settings with the 40 FPS cap. I don't think it's worth it considering the performance difference. I mean, getting basically locked 60s, in my opinion, is way better than this inconsistent thing. So yeah, that's my opinion, of course. If you want slightly better graphics, go for it. You can also increase the draw distance further if you want to. But this is not the way I would play the game. Just personal preference. Medium looks good enough. It's not that much better, honestly, visually speaking. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please grab, at least at the time of making this video, this game for free on the Epic Games Store. Again, there's a guide on how to install the Epic Games Store on the Steam Deck down below. Not made by me, but I can assure you it works. So please do, if you have the time and you're interested. It's a fantastic game if you haven't played it. I also tested Dying Light 2 if you want to check it out on the Steam Deck. I did it a couple days ago. It runs pretty well, it's verified on Steam Deck. And I'll see you next time. Bye guys, thanks for watching.